What's something you saw that you weren't definitely supposed to see?
My dad gave me his phone to order something because mine was out of battery, and on Google the first tab I see is how to tell your child a loved one is dying. My mom has been ill for years now, and I've been in denial about it getting any worse, but this finally broke me.
A text from my wife to someone else: I can't wait to feel every inch of you deep inside me. Divorce is going okay.
I have the same first name as the CFO of my former employer. The CEO was not very technically savvy and emailed me confidential company documents more than once. Edit, wow. Thanks all. 30k upvotes just because my CEO was an idiot.
I was a nosy child, and I was looking through my grandmother's address/phone number book. She had little post-its tucked in random places. I came across a note that was a list of things she wanted to do to be happy, and one of them was find a man that loves me. My grandfather had died a while back, probably 8 years previous. It didn't make me sad then, but it really does now, because she has dementia and can't remember things that happened a few seconds ago.
When I was young, maybe 6 to 8, I was at my grandparents' house. I was talking with my grandma and said I wonder if there is a website named after me. She was just as curious as me, so we go to look it up. I type in my name then.com, and to both of our horrors it was a porn website.
I was living with my girlfriend and her parents. One day I run down the stairs real quick to use the bathroom to see her parents getting down and dirty under the blanket on the couch. At this point it was too late to turn around, so I just ran past them. I use the bathroom and come out to her dad waiting in the kitchen. Most awkward moment I've had when it comes to parents, lol.
When I was around 10 years old, my mom and I went to visit an aunt and uncle, as my uncle, my mom's brother, had just had a major surgery. During the visit my aunt and my mom cooked a big dinner, and my aunt tells me to go call for my cousin to eat dinner. I go to his room and open the door to be greeted by the sight of guns lining the bed, and I vividly remember seeing bricks of what I later learned were cocaine and big burlap sacks of weed. I blurted out, "Your mom said commit," and immediately slammed the door shut. It was no secret to anyone in our family the type of business that our cousins were in. He came out of his room a few minutes later and scolded me for not knocking. I was scared shitless, but the young kid brain in me was also extremely fascinated to see that they were real-life drug lords.
Definitely going to go with my grandmother's vibrator.
Saw my upstairs neighbor and another man push a crying girl through a door. I knew they were involved in drug-related business, so I felt it necessary to call the police despite suspecting that I was being a busybody. I'd asked for my name to be kept out of the case, so I wasn't told the specifics, but my neighbor was gone for good, so he was definitely up to no good.
I needed a USB drive at work one day, and asked one of my coworkers if I could borrow one. It didn't work though, for some reason files wouldn't transfer to it. I started looking around for clues, and found an absolute massive porn collection on there. The coworker was looking over my shoulder the whole time. The only thing I could think of to say was interesting.
When I was 8, I saw my mom have a seizure due to being physically addicted to alcohol and her trying to quit. It was a very violent seizure, and I went into shock. In the terms of traumatic childhood events, I probably was not supposed to see that, but I have quite a few.
Living out in the country, when I was 10 years old, my parents went to the local video rental place and brought back a few VHS. They told me to pop in Planet of the Apes. I did, and whoever had it before didn't rewind it, and it started mid-video, and all you heard was moaning, and all I saw was an eyeful of dick and vagina. And I stared glued to the TV, and my parents freaked out and ran to turn off the TV. Apparently the small video rental store back then doubled as an adult video store as well, and somehow they accidentally grabbed a copy of Playmate of the Apes by accident.
I went to pay a ticket I got while driving with my headlights turned off. I walked into the courthouse office I was supposed to be in and looked through the glass to see the elected male sheriff giving the female magistrate a back and shoulder rub. They both went white when I knocked on the glass. The sheriff immediately stopped and walked to another room. The magistrate gave me the weirdest look and said, "I guess Christmas came early for you" stamp, and gave me the receipt of the voided ticket. Sometimes it pays to see something you're not supposed to see.
My mom's suicide plan. She had a small notepad that she kept in her dresser drawer. It had her planning on trying to make it look like an accident so my dad could collect the insurance money. She almost even went through with it one day, but from my understanding my brother unexpectedly came home early from either school or a friend's and she didn't go through with it.
One time I went to a concert at a dive venue that was tucked away in some back alleys. Was having a dart with a buddy out front during the show, and amidst the surrounding abandoned housing, I saw two dudes make an exchange of what looked very much to be a bag of guns and a bag of money. The bigger dude instigating the handoff immediately noticed and made eye contact with me. He slowly started reaching towards his waist. I held my cool and casually looked back towards my buddy who was drunkenly ruining a joke and followed him back inside. I know what I saw. The man knew I saw him. I didn't look back.
My mom and her male friend fucking in our barn when I was 9 years old. After that our parents divorced and never spoke with each other again. I'm now 37.
My mom's old friend came over. She is a little crazy but sweet too. She said I looked just like her daughter, and then spent about 10 minutes scrolling through her camera roll with me to find a picture of her. In the process I saw like 2 to 3 dick pics. She was a bit embarrassed but just said I'm sure you've seen a penis before, sorry. I assured her it was fine. Honestly by the looks of the dick I was more concerned for her.
Grandpa's porn stash. After he passed away in the hospital, I went straight to his room and purged it.
I was definitely not supposed to see my former boss banging the woman from the housekeeping agency. I was also not due the 35% raise that came my way the following month, but hey.
Seeing one of my neighbors committing suicide by jumping out the window.
Nothing like I've read on this post so far. But one time, right after turning 21, my dad takes me to one of his friend's new bar, and we're drinking having fun. I realize at one point I lost my dad, so I go looking for him, and I find him in the back room. He's with one of my friends that works in the kitchen at the restaurant we all work at together, and my dad is instantly, "Get out of here, don't look. Just go." It took me a couple years to realize they were doing lines off the pinball machine.
Borrowed my now ex-husband's laptop one evening while I was at home, and he was out with his friends. Browser was open to his Gmail account, including an ongoing chat with his mistress. He must have been chatting with her from his phone, because their convo continued on the screen as I looked on in horror. I scrolled back through the previous several weeks of their chat. He mentioned having a wife. He sent her dick pics, so many dick pics. He gushed over his feelings for her, but she mostly seemed to want to hit him up for money. It was horrifying, of course. But also a terribly sad look into that douchebag's inner life. Divorced now, thankfully. Good riddance to bad rubbish.
My ex's Reddit where he was asking for relationship advice.
My mom blowing a guy on the couch edit. I also remember walking in on my dad jacking off. Guess he should have worked it out with mom.
When I was a kid I was playing with my dad's phone and stumbled upon a video of him and his co-workers fingering the receptionist.
When I was younger, I was at a friend's house sleeping over playing video games on the N64. We wanted a late night snack and went downstairs to get some cookies, and we saw his mom with another man kissing. Wasn't sure if it got to the other point. On the lounge as he cried and said, "You're not my dad," and sadly this was the last time I spoke to him because he had to move away with his father. Edit, Q&A question games played on N64? A. Smash, Star Wars Squadrons, Banjo-Kazooie, Diddy Kong and GoldenEye. He had a mixed bunch of games and was pretty well off. Question: what is your friend up to? Have you reconnected? A. Friend is starting a family. Was somehow to find him through LinkedIn and chat through there. Other than that we never spoke about what happened. Q. Where was the dad? A. Dad was out for the night/weekend for a fishing trip from memory.
Album and a shoebox full of Polaroid sex shots of my grandmother, VHS tapes of my grandparents having group sex with other people, their bestiality fetish tapes, their Nazi paraphernalia. Found it all while clearing out my grandfather's trailer after he died. Also found jars full of piss, but I don't think he cared whether I saw those or not.
Just a couple days ago, I was trying to find the power supply of a monitor I haven't used in a couple months. Soon enough, I opened a drawer and found my brother's girlfriend's dildo. I only found out what it was as soon as I touched it.
I teach high school. While I was taking attendance at the beginning of a Zoom class a few months ago, one of the girls in the class was clearly video chatting with her boyfriend on the side, because she lifted up her shirt for him and flashed the whole class. That made for an awkward communication to her parents.
My brother and I were very curious children. One day he pulled me into our spare bathroom all excited because he had found a huge surprise in the garbage can beside the toilet. Inside the garbage can there was a tortilla chip bag with a whole bunch of rolled up things inside. We opened it up thinking that they were surprise toys, like Kinder Surprise, left inside the bag by accident. Nope, they were my mom's bloody pads.